I know Jim did pretty well in that one.
He beat me.
So,
One more for
sutures.
I did have to say.
Are we good?
We're good.
All right, we've gotten the thumbs up from the secretary that all of our audio video is in place. So let's go ahead and call to order the meeting of the Hideaway Hills Club Board of Trustees, October 18, 2018. Again, please turn off your phones if you've got them so they don't go off. Obviously, we're recording the meeting, so we have a permanent record, but nevertheless, it would be best if they didn't go off. May I have a motion to adopt the agenda for this evening? So moved. Dwayne Mickey moves. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second by Greg Patassin. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All righty, very good. It passes. The President's Report. The President's Report this month, I'd like to talk a little bit about security and some of the things that we're thinking about doing regarding that. The management, about 8 years ago, I got involved, before I even was on management, with an idea of upgrading the access through our gates that we have, because we have a very, very old technology. We have the old, probably 40-year-old garage door technology, and there's a lot of different things that we can do that are better and make it more secure and make it more verifiable. And so at that time we looked into it. The cost looked like it was going to be around $35,000 to do that for various reasons, some political, some otherwise. We chose not to do it. Well, I think given the number of sort of small things that are happening, we have some issues at the back gates, people trying to block other people and the like, I think it's time for us to really revisit that. I know we've talked with the management committee about it, and they're going to begin looking at it closely. The RFID, which is radio frequency ID, is a well-proven technology. It's very stable, and we have internet at all of it, and we have basically web service at each of our gates, and so there's no real reason that we can't upgrade to that. That'll give us a database which everybody will have verified, up-to-date IDs in the system. We'll be able to control it from either security or the main office here in terms of invalidating an ID for somebody, and we'll be able to keep track of that on a regular basis. So I think this is something, in my perspective, that's important for the Hills we need to look at. I think it's something we talked about last year when we were talking about the assessment, and I don't think the cost is prohibitive, and so I'm encouraging, I know they talked about it last week, and I'm going to encourage the management committee, please, to come up with some good solutions. There's ways we can go to a two gate lock, so you go in past, you have your ID, you get through, the first gate opens up, you get through, and then once it's through, then the second one. Then we don't have to have people blocking people at the gates. Again, we've got the cameras as well. So I think it's something I'm hearing from people that this is an important aspect, and people concerned about some of the various incidents we've had. So I think this is a priority. I'd like to see it be a priority, and I've talked with both Greg and with Jim, and I know they're looking at it seriously. So hopefully we can do this. Again, it's not hard. We need to find a solution that we all embrace and think will work best for us, but it's not either that expensive or that technically difficult. So
what does it look like? If I'm using it, do I have a sticker? Do I have a card?
Probably. It would, I mean, there's multiple ways, but yes. The idea would be that you would have a fixed sticker or like a barcoded item that would be on your windshield. And you could have as many as you needed that were, you could buy multiples of them, and we could go with that. And so that's probably the easiest way to go. But there are other, I think there's even newer technologies now coming around as well. But it would, for example, if you go on the highways in some of the, like in California and Colorado, they have easy pass systems, validate and record, and everything is right. And you never know, you don't ever know it. So I think there's, but again, we have a couple different companies we're talking with who we worked with in the past, and again, we thought about it and we chose not to do it. But I guess my feeling is, and hopefully the management committee will come up with a recommendation and bring it back to us. And I would really encourage us to move forward on this, because I think this is something that I'm hearing loud and clear from people that they want us to do. On that, that'll be the end of the president's report for this week, or this month. Mr. Secretary, do we have any correspondence tonight?
We do not.
We do not. Very good. Well said. Considering the minutes. The minutes from last month, everybody got a copy of them in front of you, September 18th minutes? Somewhere here. There it is. Would you like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes.
Do I have a second? Linda seconds. Eric Lapp first. Makes a motion. Linda seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any objections? The minutes are accepted. Mr. Matthews, could you give us the treasurer's report, please?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to accept the treasurer's report as of September 30th, 2018. We had $123,268.57 in the Benton County Bank.
Anybody have any questions for Tom? That's the treasurer's report for the date, for the meeting date tonight. Any questions at all? Tom has made the motion to accept the treasurer's report. Do I have a second? Second. Let's do Dennis today. Dennis got the second. He snuck in front of you, Dwayne. Any questions further about that? All right. That being said, all in favor of accepting the minutes as printed, please say aye.
Aye.
Any objections? Same sign. Passes. Thank you. And then we're getting to the meat of the show already. The management committee report. Mr. Kirk. And that was not, it was not a reference. It was the material, not
Well, first off, the management committee did talk again about RFID last Tuesday night. And Randy will give you a little bit of an update. We have already started the process of looking at everything that's out there, price-wise and availability and ease of use, and we'll see what we come up with. Because we agree that that needs to be addressed. Moving on, lodge number update, sales are up. Most of this, by the way, is going to be food services. Sales are up over 51,000, using year-to-date loss of 91,830 compared to 2017 loss of 109,415. The loss is almost 18,000 better than last year. Month-to-date number was almost 8,000 better than last September. Clubhouse continues on the hot streak. They made $2,832 in September, making them $4,630 profitable, and Chris says she's going to stay profitable through the end of the year. Sales increase year to date is almost 40 grand. Moving on to some other items. New winter hours for both locations will go into effect Monday, October 22nd. Those are the typical winter hours at the clubhouse, which is Sunday 10 to 4, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday 10 to 9, Friday 10 to 10, Saturday 10 to 9. They'll stay in effect till 1/1, and then we're going to look at them again. They are, I think, about an hour longer than last year. I think last year they opened at 11. I think that's what Chris thought. But we're going to give it a try because of there's quite a few people that do early lunch, the maintenance, the contractors that are in here. So we're going to give it a try. The lodge will go to Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. The restaurant will be 5 to 8. The bar will be 5 to 9. Friday, the restaurant will be 5 to 10. The bar will be 5 to 10. And Saturday, the restaurant will be 5 to 10, and the bar will be 5 to 10. We, again, like we did a couple months ago, we looked at the sales numbers, and we also looked at the sales numbers for the winter months, the off-season months last year, and it just doesn't, if we stay open later, all we're doing is running up expenses. The once a month Sunday brunch will resume on Easter Sunday. There's not enough activity during the winter time. For example, the last one he had, I don't have the exact sales number, and I don't want to just throw a number out, but it wasn't good. Everybody that came said it was great. They liked the price, they liked the breakfast, but the attendance the last 2 or 3 just hasn't been there. So it's we're not paying the expenses. Lodge, State of Ohio Standard Inspection Report. We were inspected on October 2nd by the health department, and there was, the health department report, I think, had 7 or 8 issues. There was one other issue brought up that wasn't in the report that I put on here. I'll run through them real quick. Person in charge unable to demonstrate knowledge of storage and use of toxic materials. Although critical, it was corrected during inspection. What this involved was bottles of cleaning liquids that are supposed to be on bottom shelves where they won't get spilled on food or anything. Somebody during the course of doing their job had moved them to a middle to top shelf because it was easier for them to get to. Management hadn't noticed it, so it was a violation. It was corrected on the spot. The second one, facility does not have a person with level 2 certification in food protection. That was a repeat offense, by the way. And it kind of sort of wasn't true because Brandon has a level 2 inspection. His certificate just wasn't here posted, and he wasn't that day here yet. John is in the process of attaining his level 2 serve safe. Brandon already has it. John's already, I think he's finished your level 1, correct? Correct. And he's got the schedule set for his level 2, so that won't be an issue. Food not properly protected from contamination by separation, packaging, and segregation. PBJ sandwiches on tray and freezer unprotected. Butter in pan left in reach in fridge with no covering. All containers are now covered, and they ordered a kit of date stuff, and everything's dated, and they do a line check every day, every night basically, when people are, like, for example, when Alice is going home from doing pizzas, one of them will walk back and make sure that everything that's being put in the cooler to be used the next day is covered and has dates on it. Improper storage of poisonous or toxic materials, 3 spray bottles with cleaning chemicals similar to Windex or something like that were stored over the food. This is basically the same thing as the one above, but they took an opportunity to write it up twice. See number 1 above. Bottles of cleaning liquid stored on top shelf must be on bottom shelf, and they are. Now, presence of live insects, kitchen area. This was gnats. It wasn't anything worse than that, although we certainly don't want gnats around. We checked with pest control, other than gnat traps, which they've had up there for, well, since actually before the inspection, and they seem to be helping a little bit. The pest control said there's really nothing else. You can't drown the kitchen unless you want to take all the food out of it. And there's just, the other step that the kitchen help has taken is they've taken the daily cleaning level to a higher level to help with the issue. Hopefully if there's not, you know, food scraps laying around, the bugs will find somewhere else to go.
Are these fruit flies?
They're gnats.
They're gnats?
Yeah. Single-serve articles or single-use articles stored in prohibited area, lids and containers stored on the floor of the kitchen. They were corrected immediately. Nothing's allowed to be stored on the floor, so now it's all up on shelves. Cleaning agent not provided in wash compartment of ware washing equipment. What was happening is and they didn't know it, the heating element in the dishwasher wasn't getting to a high enough temperature to meet state standard. So they ordered the parts. They came in today, late today. Maintenance will put them in tomorrow. Upright cooler leak found, internal condensation issue. I think that's one of the ones that was not actually in the report, but they found it while they were, actually John found it while they were walking around doing the inspection. The problem's already been repaired by maintenance. The following one we probably can't fix until we shut down in January, because this health department does not want wood paneling or wood shelves anywhere in the kitchen area. And back in the pizza room, all the shelves that they keep the tomato sauce and mushrooms and all that stuff on are wood, and there's wood paneling behind, probably from a somebody rehabbing the place 25 years ago. And it's painted, and it can be cleaned, but not to the standard that the state wants. So When we do shutdown, we'll pull all the wood paneling out and the wood shelves and replace them with stuff that meets state standard.
Is that a new requirement, Jim? I mean,
I don't know.
It's hard.
because that stuff's been there for how long?
It's always been there.
Yeah, it was, I don't want to try to say what kind of mind frame the health inspector was in, but he got a little picky. And we'll move on from that. John has supplied Dan Donovan and I with a whole list of other stuff that they have upgraded, changed, fixed since October 2nd. And that's where we stand on the inspection.
Jim,
Yes,
just one question. Did they say something about the sprayer not having detergent in it? I read the link from the Gazette, and there was something about the cleaning.
It was the dish cleaner that was hooked up to it. It was out. It just wasn't changed over,
plus the temperature deal.
and the temperature was off as well.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it was.
So in an effort to try to make sure that this doesn't happen again, Dan and I met with John and Brandon earlier today, and John and Brandon are going to complete self audits on a weekly basis, and Dan and I are going to complete self audits we're going to audit them on a monthly basis, do a walkthrough. Actually, we'll probably do it a whole lot more often than that because we end up walking through the kitchen more often than once a month. But the self audits will be, if any issues that need addressed will be handled immediately so that we're not embarrassed again the next time somebody from the health department walks in. That was pretty much all I had on the inspection. Anybody got any questions on that before I move on?
Is there any way we can get any food safety training for the other employees, not just the lodge manager and the whatever that Brandon is, I don't know what he is, just assistant?
I think,
Like at the clubhouse as
I
well?
thought Chris and Junior had.
Jeannie's had her own that she did herself because nobody would give her any. Chris, I don't believe has had any.
Well, then we will, because it needs to have, and they just got audited, or checked, inspected.
Yeah, and they were fine.
Right.
I'm not saying there's any problem.
No, I'm just saying that's kind of, I think Chris might have it, or else they would have written it up, because somebody in each facility has to have a level 2, was it serve safe? Yeah, level 2 serve safe certification. And they check down there, so I would think they check that. I'll check with Chris tomorrow. If she does not have the training, then we will get her the training.
I know it's a different inspector because it's a different county,
Correct.
so they might not be as picky.
You got a point. I'll check with Chris tomorrow. I need to talk to Chris tomorrow about a few other things, so, yes, we do need to have at least more than one person trained down there. And we'll handle that. On the point of training, by the way, which I didn't have this in here, but we are very close to having all bartenders in both buildings gone through the bartender training on how not to overserve, among other things, and that way we'll be 100% in compliance when it comes to that training. Any other questions on the inspection?
How often does this happen?
They were here in January, actually January 25th, and then they came back October 2nd. My guess would be, in the January one, they found 3 or 4 things. I've got it here, I didn't. Some of the stuff was even mentioned as repeat. My guess would be that if you don't have a real good inspection, like we just went through, they come back more often. They are coming back November 6th to do a recheck on a few of these things. Then kind of hopefully bless us and move on. I can't tell you what
I was just gonna do
the
it,
requirement.
and I know it's probably a surprise, I would imagine.
Yeah, they don't give you much warning.
Okay,
Yeah.
Typically, they come once a quarter.
okay, thank you.
In this case, it's like it's only twice a year, but typically it used to be once a quarter. And yeah, it's a surprise, they don't tell you what's coming.
Which kind of makes sense. Yeah. If they warned you, you'd be ready. We will be ready anyway.
Jim, I have another question.
Yes.
Do we have a list of checkoffs so that we can go through the kitchen and go, yeah, this is where it's supposed to be. Yes, this is properly stored. A check off of safety, opening, closing.
They are doing that, based on the meeting we had at 2 o'clock today. John and Brandon are gonna take the last couple inspection forms and develop a checkoff list, and that's what they're gonna use for self-audit. And that's what Dan and I will use when we audit their self-audit. I don't think there's not one developed at the moment, at least not for our facility. So they're gonna develop one.
Is there an association, what is it, restaurant, I don't know. Is there a professional association where you can join and get the information for all the different checklists that would make your lives easier?
I don't know. It's something to check into.
We are a member of the Ohio Licensed Beverage Association, which has to do with alcohol.
Yeah, I think there's one for restaurants.
The Ohio Restaurant Association. We're not a member of that.
Maybe if we could be, we'd get a lot of information and it would, just up our game. It's just.
Ohio Restaurant Association? Is that what
Yes.
you call it?
Yes.
I will reach out to them and find out.
Thank you.
No problem. The last thing I have was approximately a week and a half ago, the assistant manager of the lodge, Sherry Moore, resigned to pursue other opportunities. And at the moment, since we're going into the slow time of year, we are not looking to fill the position. We're going to, John and Brandon feel that between the two of them and some of the great help that they've got upstairs right now, they really don't need that expense, so we're gonna winter it.
Do you think ultimately you will, or are you just gonna wait to see how it
We haven't decided yet.
Okay.
That's, yeah, we're gonna see how the winter goes, and,
Because I assume you could probably do some assignments that would be sort of semi-supervisory, that would be not necessarily be.
well, yeah, the only thing we're really looking for now is if John's gonna spend more time out of the kitchen helping run and, visiting the tables and making sure the food's fine and all that, then they'll probably need a line cook, which isn't a real expensive position, in the kitchen. And if we get the right person there, I could see us next spring staying with that level of management and just adding, the extra people that you need to wait tables and bartend through the busy time. But we'll have to see how it works out. Any questions?
Any other questions for Joe? Thank you very much, appreciate it. Mr. Swetnam, could you give us a general manager's report?
Yes, sir. Mr. President, I'll start with delinquency totals as of September. The regular assessments were $16,270. The road assessment was at $1,400. As of October this month, they went up to $22,385, with the roads going up to $2,780. Partially, the reasoning behind that, as far as the regular assessments, were the two Article 9s that we had a couple meetings ago. Those people, and find them, those people haven't paid. So that's a big part of that right there. Dam assessment total right now is $397,604. For several years now, we've been looking at refinishing the dance floor upstairs. It's got a coat of something on it. It's hard to clean. So I've had 4 vendors in taking a look at that, contractors in taking a look at that. We've got quotes back. So I'll talk about that as management as far as what we're going to do with that. So the plan is to, if possible, if we can afford it, refinish that during shutdown. And they all said it would only take 3 to 6 days to do that. And so we'll look at that. Also, we're planning on going to direct deposit for all employees. As of the first of the year, Penny did some research with our payroll company, and we can save us $1,200 a year if we go with all direct deposit. We're also going to offer a pay card to those that don't have checking or savings accounts. We just haven't decided on what company to go with. We're hoping to find one that there's no charge to the employees for the pay card. So that's something we're looking into. Chip and seal for 2018 is complete. We just barely got it in under the weather situation. And so we will continue with some asphalt work and cold patch. There's some potholes that need to be filled and some ditches. We still need to work on the ditches. And there is some money left to do that. And so we'll continue with that as long as we can, as long as the asphalt plants stay open. So we'll continue with that. I did want to touch a little bit more on the gate security.
Just 1 second. Did we meet all the target areas that maintenance wanted to?
As
Chip
far
and
as
seal?
chip and seal, we did. Yes, we did.
Okay.
Now the completing the ditches is going to be another story. But we've already done several, and they've worked out pretty well. Whether or not we're going to have enough money to meet the rest of them or not, I doubt it.
Okay.
But we're going to do the best we can.
Where's the next target enforcement?
Well, we have to do more on the golf course hill for one thing for sure, and probably a little bit more on Hewitt Hall. There's some others too that I can't name at this time.
Is the remedy we've used, is it working
Seems
well
to be.
enough?
Seems to be. I think where it'll really tell is next spring rains. What the problem has been is these big hard downpours we've gotten. It just seemed to wash things out. And I think what they've done, we'll see how well it works next year. Yeah.
Okay.
As far as the gate security, I have contacted 2 companies. One is who does our gates now and who gave us some quotes, as Jim was talking about there several years ago. There's different items out there to take a look at. We've got different situations here. And then the company that we were down, when we were at the OLCA meeting down at Winoka, they've got a very successful system down there. So I've contacted that general manager. He's given me the name of those folks. They are from Cincinnati. However, they do have a branch in Columbus. So I'm meeting with them at some point here to talk about our needs and wants and see if we can't get a quote. I just found out today that our camera system people also have access control capabilities. So I'll be contacting them as well. Some of the different situations we have is that came up in the management committee meeting. If we do the trap gates where you've got one that, like Jim explained, have one that goes out, you enter, it closes behind you, then the other opens up. One of the concerns was people with trailers. And if you make your trap gates wide enough for trailers, then there's a possibility you can get a tailgater in behind that. So that's some of the things. And also another issue is EMS and fire trucks. How are they going to get into the gate? I know the company that we talked to before has a solution for that. It's just that there's a lot of little details we need to work out with the company in order to get an accurate and competitive bid on these. So that's kind of where we're at with that. Anybody have any questions?
I believe me, I'm all for this RFID, but has anybody thought about how we're gonna pay for it yet? Is it gonna come out of capital improvement? How are we gonna do this?
Well,
I can tell you when we originally thought about doing it, and again, this was 8 years ago, we were going to do a combination of investment by the club as well as some user fees. I mean, people have these old remote controls that they spent $25 on, or whatever, 25,
50.
25 back.
A bunch of years ago. And so, but, you know, with most people with the modern cars, they aren't even using the remotes anymore. It's all programmed in. So given what the cost of it will be, At that time, we envisioned a lesser fee, but nevertheless one that would help reduce some of the investment.
Yeah, I
So,
remember that.
Because you wouldn't want to give them for free, because then you'd have it just wouldn't make any sense, because it may be all over the place. You want to have some price fixing. So if you're going to do, if you've got 800 families, and these are going to be Waynoka does $10 a year, I believe, is for theirs. I mean, so you could defray that cost in that regard.
That would defray the cost of the chips, but I'm just curious how you're gonna.
Well, the chips are not that expensive,
Right.
so you price them so that
Yeah.
you recover some of the
Some of
investment
it, yeah.
cost. Yeah, right. And so I think then you just get into the decision, which I'll defer to the group that I used to be on, to decide what the right price point is and bring us back a
I remember, I think we were talking last time, I think it was $50 for the first one.
It was less than that.
It was
Quite a bit less than that, yeah. Because the difference between the plastic ones and the remotes, the old remotes are much more expensive than, because this is just a little strip. I mean, the primary advantage.
I know it was high, but you turned in your remote, and that cut it back.
Yeah, we're sort of in
It's been
the,
8 years ago.
yeah, oh, no, I agree. No, we're sort of in the weeds right now, but I think, if your RFID is only gonna cost you $4 or $5 and you charge 10, then you got a lot of money that you can use in investing in.
I realize you're not even anywhere near close to how you're gonna pay for it, but
Yeah.
you gotta start thinking about it.
Well, that's kind of why we're trying to get the estimates now, so that we've got an idea going into the budget cycle.
Yeah.
How many $25 remotes are there out there that people are gonna want the $25 back when they turn them back in?
Sure. Yeah, we took that into account.
But Jim, I agree, we've gotta be concerned where we're gonna get the money. But we don't know the cost yet, but the other thing is, with the number of break-ins we've been having around here, we gotta do something.
Yeah,
And
don't get me wrong, I'm all
especially at
for it.
Freeman Gate, it is bad back there.
I'm 100% for it. I don't care how we do it, but
Well, it's our concern how we're gonna pay for it too.
yeah.
I would look into amenities.
And to clarify
Good
that,
question. That could be,
An amenity.
it sure is.
one of the big advantages of the RFID is not just to open and close the gate, but we know who is opening and closing that gate. And we're gonna have that software or whatever to be able to see that, right?
Yes.
Eric, if I can amend what you're saying, I agree with you, but it's not, we don't care who's coming in and going or when they're coming in and going, except
Right.
when we have a situation where somebody who's got a sticker that shouldn't be coming in anymore, but, the front gate has no basis to know if they got a sticker, they go right through. But that person shouldn't be coming in, we have no way to stop them. With the RFID, we can stop them. That's the real benefit. That's, I think, where you're driving, right, Eric?
Yes.
Plus all the data lookers that are out there roaming around someplace.
Or the fact that anybody with a little electronics background can come to one of those
Yeah.
gates and with a
Yeah.
scanner and get right in.
Right.
You're there. I have another question for I don't know if it's Jim or Randy. I thought we had a program that automatically the office could take the financials and put them in the new format, and we did not get the new format tonight.
That's correct. We were waiting for them to be verified, and we didn't get them back.
Okay.
Yeah, I apologize for that.
All right, any other questions of Randy? So there are no further questions. It's time to go on to the committee business and reports. Fund requests, committees. Anybody got anything?
Didn't hear anything from Barn. The airport's just sitting there.
The garden committee, I'd like to make a motion to approve Greg Patassin as chair of the organic garden committee.
Is he in his right mind?
I don't believe so, but that's not part of the motion.
That question was actually out of order. Do I have a second for that motion?
We might say there is a new committee who's pretty active. I got 5, actually I got 6 members, but we only have 5 on the committee. And we'll see what we can do.
Second was Dennis.
Yeah. Do we want any testimonials from Greg before we go forward? Or do we have any further questions? All right. We have a motion being made by Scott Martin and being seconded by Dennis to appoint Greg Patassin as the chair. Oh, do we have a resignation yet from? We need to do that too.
Well, Yeah, we do, and that's a good point. Sorry about that, Scott.
I don't have a motion.
I remember Jim White,
So we table this then?
No, we can table it for right now. And then now we go to motion, and then we need a motion to accept the resignation from Belinda.
And Belinda, she put in 2 years and really tried, and it's time. It got busy and,
That's fine. So we have, who's making the motion for Belinda to accept Belinda's resignation?
Well, I don't have a resignation in front of me, but I don't know if I should speak for her without.
no, I would agree. We should wait and be voted.
Okay.
It doesn't happen.
I have a motion to table this. Do I need a motion to table, or do I just table?
Somebody.
I'll make a motion to table the.
All right, Scott makes a motion to table. Second? Second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
For the record, would you read the members of the committee?
Yes, the Organic Garden had its fall meeting on October 6th. A new committee was formed with Keith Carter, Margie Geyer, Janine Mackey, Greg Patasson, and Dave Stevenson. Greg Patasson was elected chair, 5 new gardeners. And I'd also like to make a motion to reimburse Greg Patasson $108.85 for tools and straw.
The motion, do we have a second? Second from Linda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
So I guess it'll help, motion on the, who made the motion to table?
Scott.
Scott did, and who seconded? Thank you. So I was trying to think how to write that up, so now, okay, got it.
Anything further, Scott, or?
That's all I have.
All right.
Lakes Committee, the pontoon removal is Saturday, the 27th, begins breakfast or coffee, begins at 7:30. The actual, removal begins at 8. Be there, be square. The pizza party will follow at the clubhouse after all the boats are removed, pontoons, I should say. I'd like to make a motion to approve up to $650 to be used for beer and pop at the clubhouse and to pay Massey's for pizzas. The pizza portion of that $650 is probably less than $200.
I'll second.
Seconded by Greg. Any question at all?
I do. Has Lakes talked to our restaurant about the pizzas instead of going outside?
That has been considered, yes. And the cost is a variable. And the group that generally is involved is the volunteers like Massey's Pizza. That's what they want.
All right.
There is one sort of precedent setting, which is for our facilities in the past, including this one right here. We have never, the food service has been able to determine whether or not we've not allowed catering to be brought in when we have that capability. I know in the past, we didn't have the capability to provide the pizzas that Massey's was able to. Is the Lakes Committee willing to try
Not this
pizzas?
year.
And why is that?
I think they feel like they can't afford the additional cost. They don't believe that the pizzas will be coming to them all warm. So there's a problem with the assembly of the pieces and the timeliness of that. Plus you have a history of folks liking Massey's and enjoying their pizza and not enjoying ours as much.
Well, I realize that in the past, and that was, I thought, a very, that's why we allowed it in the past. It wasn't going to just happen, because I remember asking when I was on the management committee that Lakes considered using it, and that was when Mike Permick was here, and Mike freely admitted he wasn't capable of meeting the demand. I have no problem with, certainly with the idea of going forward with it, but I guess from my own perspective, as we're going to go forward with that facility as well as this one, it has been the decision to whether or not allow catering to be, that is the precedent. And that's a rule that we've established. So it's like if you have something down here, you can have a potluck that you can't have, you can't cater something in your.
How come we've done it for 18 years, totally legally? 18 years I've done it.
It was asked. We did it on purpose. I talked to you about it at that
I
time,
mean,
right?
18 years we brought in pizzas.
I know.
People can order pizzas into Hideaway Hills if they want.
Well, it's a little
For a
bit
family
out, it's a
party.
little bit out of order, Sue, but
I'm
nevertheless.
sorry.
No, I mean,
I
the
understand.
point, I'll answer your question, because that was, at least when I don't know about before me, that I do remember talking about at that time, that I'd like food services, and especially in our facility, to be able to do it. You said that Mike couldn't do it. I talked to Mike. Mike said, no, I can't. I'm not gonna do it because I can't make it happen.
I would ask that, and because I had the EVO thing went through me initially, I would say unless we've got the ability to deliver 18 to 24 pizzas hot to the clubhouse, I think we should, let Lakes do it, and then next year say, look, we've got the ability to do it, and show them we can.
Absolutely.
And I know golf committee was very happy with what happened with golf, although they were cold. And that's because I don't think we've got,
Can you do that?
I don't think we've got the ability to get 18 or 20 pizzas up there hot. Am I correct?
When we get that pizza merchandiser, when it's
We
shipped.
are, okay,
Yes.
there we go.
So right now, no.
That's the difference, and I'm
But-
with you.
but
But I
for
would say
future-
next year, Lakes, give the clubhouse a shot, lodge a shot.
There's one other thing too. It's not whether they're hot or cold, it's you need 18 of them there now. You've got 50 people standing there. And if you bring in 6 pizzas, and then you got another 6 coming, you're gonna have a hell of a fight on your hands.
With the new conveyor, how quickly can we get 18 to 20 out?
About from start to finish, about 10 minutes of pizza. And there's 3 conveyors, so
So do I have
So
to
then
pay?
wait, the 10 minutes, you say 3 conveyors, so that's 6 minutes of pizza?
yeah, they take about 5 minutes to go through.
We have to
So
pay
5
maintenance. Do I have to pay those people that work in the kitchen here? I have to pay maintenance to do the tractors. Am I
Well, I
gonna pay
think
for
that'd
them to be in
you
the
just
morning?
pay- you
That'll
just
be a
pay for-
question
you
that'll
just
be a
pay for-
question I have.
You just pay for the pizzas. Just like you're gonna pay Massey's.
Well,
But then you got the cost.
there's a
of
cost
paying
variable with
less
Massey's
people.
and our pizza here. And the cost variable is that we are, I wanna say 40% higher in cost.
What are you paying? Well, I'll get with you later.
But we don't have the ability this year. You
Okay,
gotta
I agree.
accept, we don't have the ability this year, so I think we gotta get it, we gotta gear up for it. Because there are
Yeah.
several committees that do this.
We don't wanna, yeah.
At the same time, that's a pretty significant price difference at 40%. That's
Well, I'm
certainly
gonna,
the
I'm gonna
case.
investigate that.
Yeah, please do.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think, we certainly don't wanna gouge our own committees. And we did that one time, we had that one time before with the, I think with the, certainly with the, it was the member guest. The cost that was projected or proposed from the food service was much higher than the committee wanted to do. This is again quite a few years ago. All right, so we have a motion on the floor. We have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And let's stay tuned on this. I'd like to see if we could do it. I think after we spend all that money on that pizza oven, let's see if we can take care of our committees on that. Next, I'll take Food Fund Fellowship and the deck campaign. I got another person working on a bid for us. I also am expecting to get information back from Idle, I think within a couple of weeks. The money, we've had some more donations and money. It's in there, it's 53, and I think we have commitments for another $7,000 or $8,000 we haven't collected yet, as well as the money from the amenities and from the other places. So hopefully, again, I talked to a person here just recently and he's very, very interested. We've just adjusted the plans a little bit, so he should be able to formulate a bid here, and then I've asked Mark Truman to also come back with a bid. So hopefully we'll have something. Obviously, the target is going to be to get this thing, get some concrete in the ground and the thing done in the spring, so that we'll have a full, next year. That's what, it doesn't make any sense now, no one's gonna sit on the deck anyway. If people are willing to work in this weather and think that they can put the foundations in, we will do that as soon as possible. But I think we had a little bit of a change, and so a new product that the fellow, the engineer we were working with from Idle made a recommendation that we use. And so we had to adjust the plans a little bit for that. So that was that added about 2 weeks to where we're at right now. But again, moving forward, hopefully it's, you know, the bids come in at a level that is within our current resources, and we start building this thing in the springtime.
Isn't there some amenities money that we'll lose off of that total that if we don't start it by the first of the
We have
year?
to re-ask for it, Scott, yes. Yeah. We would have to re-ask, but we haven't spent anything this year at all,
Mhm.
so it's in the bank, so, I mean.
Yeah, there'll be more in the pot next year.
That's correct, I mean, yeah, you're technically absolutely correct, hopefully that it remains a priority, people will continue to wanna do that. But we haven't, the only thing we've spent was, I bought a couple of sets of prints, Jim Kirk bought a couple of sets of prints, and then we paid our engineer, I think, $200 several months ago. That's all we've spent so far. Any further questions on that? And Kathy Clevenger remains working eagerly on the fundraising project for us. Good, all right. Do you have anything?
No, but I do, but you haven't listed on another item, so I thought. Oh, the revised, yeah, so I'll bring it up.
Oh, yeah,
The
yeah,
ACC piece,
yeah,
that's all I had.
yeah, okay. Yeah, let's do that as a separate item.
Good.
Mr. Matthews.
Just tennis, they have a work day scheduled, on Sunday, October the 21st. Golf just had their Hill Scramble on Sunday, and they've got one event left, the night golf on, October 26th. I'd like to make a motion to pay Dr. John Jones $204.07 out of the golf committee for the night golf supplies.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Scott got in there, and he's an avid golfer, so we'll let Scott do the, give the motion for $204.07 to John Jones. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And Health and Wellness is having their second annual 5K, 10K lake run on November 3rd.
Is there any updates on working on the project up front?
There was, the last meeting I couldn't go to, we had scheduled one and Joe couldn't make it, so there was only a few of us there, and they had another one. Was Scott, were you there?
Well, yeah.
The one we had, so,
The one we were at.
no, I don't think there's any update from them.
All right. It's ours, so we're, whatever we.
All right. I think the plan is just to get a roof on first.
Okay.
Long range planning, I met with Ken Yost. He went over the fact that the committee is working on their 5-year plan. It's due at the end of the year. They're not going to make it, mostly because nobody's responding to the request for information. So I've asked him for a list of people who need to respond. He gave it to me, and I'll publicly shame us all. This committee, the board, the management committee, amphitheater, boat docks, boat storage, Chapel on the Pines, golf course, clubhouse shelter, lakes, lodge, lounge, microbrewery, organic garden, ORV, track, security, shooting range, tennis courts,
Nobody.
just about nobody. So
What am I supposed to do?
I'm gonna contact each of you guys and
It's not on my event horizon at
Right.
this point.
Apparently, it's on nobody's event horizon, and that makes it very difficult for them to do a plan going forward.
Yep.
Now, he's very serious about this. He's a serious guy, so I told him I would do everything I can to help. So I will work with him, get specific requests, and pass them down through to you guys individually.
Sure.
Okay? So that'll be me bugging you on his behalf.
No problem. Who all's on the committee these days? Additions or subtractions or?
Yeah, I don't have it with me, but yes, there's several new people in the committee right now. He just took over himself.
Right.
Just very recently.
Because there's been a couple people who've asked me and I asked them to come
Okay.
again, so I just wondered whether we.
Well, I just met him on Sunday.
Okay.
I called him to introduce myself and to meet with him and have him tell me what he needed.
Okay.
He was very clear on what he needed.
Good deal.
All right, so I'll be back in touch with everybody.
That closed the committee portion of the evening. All right. Well, let's move on. It's time for open forum. We have anyone?
Cynthia Carbone,
Yes.
please.
Thank you.
Speak.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Carbone. I think I know most of you. Dennis, I've never met you, but hi. I really want to thank you for the opportunity to speak here. I'm going to read from this, and you have to excuse me if I do have a cold. I have a concern. I want to bring it to your attention tonight. In response to the board's time, I want to be succinct and thorough as possible. The issue centers on building code 300.04, site lighting. Exterior lighting, I'm going to read the code. Exterior lighting for security and other uses must be directed towards the ground and house whereby the light stays within the property boundaries and the light source does not cause glare to other homeowners. Okay. The four lights on the detached garage across from me, they cause glare on and in my house and are on 24/7. I have copies of pictures that I've taken, and I will give those to Jim. They illuminate the outside of my house. They light up the side of my car when it's parked and the surrounding trees. The lights shine through my drapes when they are down, and doors and windows. They shine through the window and across my 16-foot family room, illuminating the back window. It's called retro reflection of the detached garage. They shine through the family room door, to the back window, and out to the back deck. They illuminate the walls to the degree that I can do shadow puppets and clearly see them. They light the stairs up. Coming down in the midnight, I have to hold up my hand, and I mean this, to block the light, which is blinding. I cannot enjoy my home, sitting in my family room, my front deck, or my back deck. It has become a safety and a health issue, keeping me up at night, leaving me exhausted and stressed. And I mean that to no degree. I mean it absolutely to a degree. I'm starting to get ocular migraines from them. My bathroom is downstairs. I get up and several times at night, and I have to shield my eyes. The steps I have taken to correct the issue. Initially, I spoke to the owner of the lot. There was indifference and no result. What he stated is on here. I will not repeat it. On Friday, March 2nd, as protocol demands, I notified our general manager. The lumens were lowered from 750 per light, that's times 4, to 350 per light. 750 lumens is the equivalent of one headlight. I want you to think about that. The conversation proved fruitful. The results of that conversation are attached. I've included that. The general manager consulted with management and they viewed the situation as handled, which it is not. I was told to get curtains. I have curtains. Correspondence was sent by my lawyer with several pictures illustrating the issue. There has been no response from Hideaway Hills. That letter is also attached. I am requesting the enforcement of Building Code 300.03 site lighting, specifically whereby the cone stays within the property boundaries and the light source does not cause glare to other homeowners. I believe the homeowner is in violation of that code. I researched lumens and have documentation pictures to prove it. I want you to see the attached. I feel I am a prisoner in my own home. I moved to the woods. I did not move to inner city. And no one should feel how I'm feeling. This is affecting my well-being and my day-to-day life. I understand the need for security and the right to protect one's property. However, I request the enforcement of this code. An acceptable compromise would be for the lights to be further reduced or shut off and just the bypass door used. The lights will be placed on a motion detector, or at least all the lights further reduced and placed on a motion detector. I realize that on first look at the lights, they appear to be not bright. You drive by, you look at the lights, and they do not appear to be bright. If a drive-by is performed, which I requested, and I requested them to come into the house, that was denied, the ambient light from the headlights cannot adequately show the impact on and in my home. One of the guards recently viewed the bullet points listed below. I also invite any member from here to come to my home after dark. Get used to the dark and see what I'm talking about. What I found during my research on lumens, a typical LED auto headlight puts out roughly 50 to 100 lumens. I'm talking 350 times 4. The sun is 10,000 lumens. Moonlight is 0.02. An iPhone is 30 lumens. A flashlight is 85 lumens. A 60-watt incandescent bulb is about 800 to 900 lumens, spread out to 360 degrees. These lights are not spread out to 360 degrees. They're not concentrated. 80 lumens or higher is considered enough lumens to temporarily blind a person. Yes?
Are they pointed down or
No,
pointed
they
out?
are, what they are is they are, imagine a billboard. Okay, so they come out from the building, they angle back, they cause a complete circle around. Then what is called retroreflective. I've done so much research. The cone of light is pushed off of the surface, coming back. It becomes actually brighter. It's the same thing as when you're driving along and your headlight hits a traffic sign, or the little dots.
Reflective.
The reflective, right. It's the same thing. Okay, does that answer your question adequately?
I think.
Okay.
So they do spotlights and reflecting off the building back to you.
Yes, they are.
Right.
Right. And what they
There
are,
multiple lights.
right.
You say you don't have
Right.
that.
So the bulbs are, I've got pictures here. Anyway, I'm not going to pull them out unless you really want me to.
Could you pass them around? while
Yes,
you're-
absolutely.
I'd like to see.
When did they build this garage?
This garage was built finished this year.
Okay.
And there's a list of them. So what is here, the back one is my family room, the front door window, the car showing reflection, the window in the family room, illumination of house by garage showing reflection of garage on storm door, reflection on back deck, reflection of my hand. I can hold my hand up to my storm and take a picture of it. You can see every finger. It's across the street. The farthest garage window from my garage, lights with the floods on. With the light with the flood, there's also a floodlight. When that goes on, my stairs, you would think that somebody's at my front door with a flashlight. That's what caused me to call the security, because I thought somebody was at my front door with a flashlight. And I want you to understand that you cannot see the boundary of a cone of light. It is impossible. So that light is going out to the garage, coming back to me at a broadened cone of light. That is it. And I need a remedy on this.
All right. Thank you, Cynthia.
You're welcome.
We will review. Thank you very much.
There's the letter in there.
Take a look.
And all those pictures, there is no other light other than the garage.
Thank you. All right. Take just a second for this.
Randy, so this goes involved here. I've got a copy of the back of the stairs here.
Just wait, Dennis will be back in just a second, just sit down. and we'll resume the meeting at that point. When we restart, the topic I'm going to talk about is the Sunday alcohol. I remember at last meeting, I believe Eric, I guess it was last meeting, was Eric had asked whether we could look into, in particular, getting alcohol available on Sundays at the clubhouse. So I've been able to do a little research into that.
Can I ask a question? Is this the front of your house?
Yes, it is. The trees are also side lit.
It's on Zoom. Yeah. So anyway, as a result of Eric's question, I reached out to the attorney who works for the OLCA and has worked with us some in the past by the name of John Jolly, to see what the particulars are. I caught him last week or 2 weeks ago when we were at the Lake Waynoka, and then I hadn't done anything with it subsequently. And so then after Eric asked me, I went ahead and followed up with it. So the situation is that we have 2 separate liquor licenses. The one here for the lodge is a manufacturer's license, and then the second one, which is for the clubhouse, is a similar license, but it's a less expensive one because it's not the manufacturer's, but it's because we are a manufacturer that we can get that license as well. I believe it's $3,800 for the first license and $1,000 for the second. So since we are in 2 separate counties, and both of these counties through prohibition are essentially dry, so if you wish to have any change or like liquor license or anything like, you have to go through the election process. There's no other way to do it. And so I reached out to, like I said, John Jolly, and he indicated to me that there are companies that do this. Again, since if they're in 2 different counties, if we wanted to do both of them, we would have to do 2 separate election initiatives, one in Fairfield and one in Hocking. Our original approach was that we were looking at the clubhouse first, which is Hocking County. And so rather than going to a company to try to do this, and a company that has, or a place that has done it fairly recently is Pumpkin Vine Golf Course, which is on Greenman Road, but that's in Rush Creek. And they went ahead and got it. But I was able to get in touch with the Board of Elections people at Hocking County, because that seemed to be the primary, the one we had the most interest in. And I ran into played phone tag with her for a couple of days, but I actually had a very nice conversation with the woman this morning who actually is doing one, or has just done through the Board of Elections another liquor license for closer to Logan. And so what the process is, if we choose to go forward with it, is that after the gubernatorial election here in a couple of weeks, it will be determined how many people will vote in this precinct. So if we're looking at Marion Township. And once that number is known of how many people voted, then they will give us a number of how many signatures we need of residents to put on a petition to bring to them to put this on the ballot. Once that's done, and they certify those, then we go through the process of dealing with the Board of Liquor Control to get the authorization to move forward. The Board of Liquor Control doesn't want to see it until they know there's an initiative actually proven for the ballot. So that would be the step. That usually is apparently a fairly simple process, and one that they're very willing to work with us. Like I said, this woman is just recently. This was really a case where she's from the government and she was trying there to help us. I have to admit, and as a lifelong public servant or public sector employee, I was glad to see this. But anyway, so that is where we're at with that. She recommended if we do it, it would be a single site So we wouldn't be doing it for the entire precinct, we'd be asking just for the particular address of the clubhouse. Then it would, after we have that certified, if we have the petition certified, and then certainly the sprinkling of holy water from the Board of Liquor Control, then it would actually go up for an election. The way we would do it would be to just have it be involved in the precinct, the actual precinct, if we choose a single site, and we can have only the precinct that the clubhouse is in, would be who actually votes on it. The next thing though, that's a
And
little,
that'd be much smaller than Marion
That's
Township.
Hideaway Hills, correct, that precinct? When you go vote, the table says
she's going
Hideaway
to
Hills.
send me that map. But
Yeah,
you're probably
believe it.
right, I've never voted here. so
There's two precincts in Hideaway Hills, if I'm not mistaken, one and two, that involve Hideaway Hills.
Well, one of Hocking County anyway, yeah.
No, I mean, Hideaway Hills is separated into two precincts. Not Hideaway Hills alone. Marion Township, that's Marion Township 1, Marion Township 2. And I think that some people in Hideaway Hills belong to 2, and some people belong to 1. I may be wrong with
Okay,
that.
so,
Well, okay, so yes, she's gonna put the package together. She asked me if we could wait till after the election, because she has a few things to do in the next couple of weeks, and so I said that would be just fine. And so we're gonna go back, I'll talk with her sometime in the middle of November. The only other thing that's a little bit, or has a fair impact upon us, is you can only have these elections on the time when there's actual people being up for election. They will not schedule just an election for this sort of thing. So the next time that the Marion Township will have any human people up for election will be next November. So we have plenty of time to get our ducks in a row. We won't be able to have any Sunday liquor, but we will have plenty of time to figure out exactly what it is, get the word out to our people to sign the petitions, and go through the whole process.
next November.
There's no primaries, and there's no people on it, and apparently it's written into state law that you can't do these liquor initiatives just as a one-off. You have to have it as part of an election where there are people being elected.
Okay.
And what is the cost to do that?
It's not very expensive, we do it ourselves. It's in the hundreds of dollars is all it would be. I don't think, because there's a filing fee with the liquor control, and then there's an additional, let me step back from it. That is all I've been able to find in doing my own research for it. I can't. Let me get back to you on that one after I get a little further into it. I don't want to misspeak and say, oh, it's only this much, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's more. It could be more. But this is the process. So the question is here is, do we want to, follow through with this? I can start with this when, later in November when she's, after the election is done, and we can look to see whether we want to pursue this.
It seems to me, if I remember right, way back when, before we got the manufacturer's license, they put this up for vote, and I think it failed by 2 votes. In the township, it was a township vote. But it seemed to me like there was like 2 votes that it failed by. That's way back, almost before my time.
We have way more full-time members that probably vote here now than we.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm talking, how long's I'm talking probably
Again, it would only be-
82, 83, 84, 85, somewhere in there when they tried this. First time they shut the lodge down, when it was just private membership.
Jim, so the dry dock obviously had a liquor license on Sunday. How did they do it?
It's a different, they don't have high liquor there either. Right. The dry dock had the cut liquor like they would use, drugstore liquor or stuff you buy in grocery stores.
But there are single point, so those, at some point, they went forward and got a vote to be authorized to do that.
Because it was a single point scenario.
That's
There's
right.
no chance that we have, if we're wet in this area for being able to sell regular beer.
From going through the records from the Board of Liquor Control, I couldn't find anything that there's ever been any vote for making a wide open one. And when I spoke to the woman today, she was very strong on the fact that there was not, we would want to do a single point and not a general one, because then you have to bring in more and more people, and it wouldn't be our, And it wouldn't speed it, I mean, we're still looking at next November, so we have time to strategize, I think is.
So it sounds like you had such a good conversation, that if there would have been an option, another option, she would have thrown it forward for you.
Yeah, and John Jolly didn't have any other
Okay.
options either. He responded, to my question, and he was like, "No, the only way you can do that is with an election, getting your stuff in." And he was recommending that we hire somebody else to do it. And I know that in the past seemed to be like a $3,000 to $4,000 question to have somebody else come in and do that. Whether we want to do that or not, we can wait till the next meeting and I'll report back, because we'll have more information by then.
Glenn Laurel did this exact same thing.
Okay.
They did hire somebody, it cost them $5,000,
$5,000.
but they did get their liquor license.
Yeah. Well, I think that, I'm a firm believer in looking at the data. If we find out how many people we have, what the size of the precinct is, and go forward with it, I think that'll give us a pretty good clue on how we want to proceed. That would be my sense.
I also think with what Scott said, that the major portion of precinct 1, I know I'm in precinct 1, and the major portion of it are highway hills.
Yeah, and I mean, we're a little different than Glen Laurel because we have members here that all live where they want to vote, and they're wanting outsiders to come in, so people in the neighborhood might not want them to have a liquor license.
I mean, I think I was actually fairly, I was surprised by the length of time, because I was hoping we could do it on a shorter time frame. But at the same time, if we're gonna do it, it's probably worth doing it correctly and then taking the time to do it. Agreed. So that's all my report. I will, I guess with your encouragement, I'll continue to move forward and see where we can go. Okay. Alrighty. New business, reaffirming the e-votes. Very good. Everybody got their e-votes in front of them? It's a little shorter list this month, which is nice. We have a bunch of 8-0s. I will go ahead and read them all at once. E-vote to rescind the 1918 motion pay for $50 gift card for Pat Lynch from Chapel Committee funds. E-vote to reimburse Heather Ray $50 from Chapel Committee funds for a lodge gift card for Pat Lynch for his extra work on trees for Chapel and the Pines. There's obviously a bureaucratic breakdown there. E-vote to approve Echo publication employee Christmas fund letter. E-vote to accept the $8,000 for lots 966 and 967 Taos. E-vote to approve the activities for youth proposed community yard sale tentatively on October 20, 2018. An e-vote to rescind the motion to pay TrimTech $320.10 for the Lakes Committee phone blocks and reimburse CSI for that amount. E-vote request to sell the lots at 987, 88, and 89 South Lane for $8,000. An e-vote approval to pay Greg Potassium $159.90 from Garden Committee funds for repair of the John Deere riding mower, gas, T-post, and garden supplies. E-vote to approve $1,350 payable to Marlowe Fish Hatchery from Lakes Committee funds for stocking the lakes with fish. And e-vote to approve $1,526 to Baker Company from the Lakes Committee funds for the purchase of cement pads to place the Lake of the Four Seasons benches. Those are all of the e-votes. There were 8 and 0. May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve them.
Great motion. Second motion. No, Glenda beat you already, didn't it? Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. The 170 is an e-vote to Article 9, John Glass.
Sorry.
Sorry, 7-1. You're right, it was an abstention. I'm sorry, you're right. Thank you for that correction. E-vote to Article 9, John Glass Jr. and ban him from the lodge and clubhouse immediately for the incident at the lodge on September 25. 7 yeses, 1 abstention. May I have a motion to reaffirm that e-vote?
I'll make that motion.
Eric Clapp makes the motion, second by Linda. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No opposed. Thank you very much. E-votes are taken care of. I appreciate once again Greg's handling those and managing those. That's helpful to me. All right, this is moving on to new business. I realized when we had sort of talking earlier last week that one of the things we haven't really done is bring John Bobston and to basically to congratulate him on his promotion and give him an opportunity. I think he knows most people there, but nevertheless, have the opportunity to come in and speak to us, both to give us a little of his vision of what he wants to do, and sort of some of the ideas and the things that we can look forward to him, and sort of as opposed to Jim's earlier proposal or presentation, which was a huge downer.
Thank you.
Nevertheless, I wanted John to give, John and Jim and I, and was a great deal with John. But John, if you could come to front of us and give us a little song and dance, if you would, please.
How you guys doing?
Yeah, we're doing well.
Well, I want to address the health inspection first.
Oh, sure.
I know it was not ideal. It's most definitely not the worst one I have seen. The criticals were the chemical, the cleaning supplies, and the gnats, and those have been addressed. You know, what we can do. It's like Jim said earlier, we had implemented new cleaning procedures. It was kind of it was a lapse on my part for not going and checking everybody's work when I was done. And a lot of that was me leaving before them. So at this point, it would be Brandon or myself to make sure that they are done before they leave. So this will not happen again. So I will promise that.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. And as far as like committees and doing things for the community, like if people want pizzas or hamburgers and fries, I'm gonna do what's best and give a better rate than I would just a normal business. Like we can be competitive, I think a little bit cheaper in some aspects, some we can't be, but we will try the best we can just to help the community and help the communities.
And we all have, you are an amenity, and we have a, commitment to try to make this work as best we can.
Yeah.
No question.
Anybody have any questions for me, or anything you would like to see, or?
Your background.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Background? Started just working at a pizza shop when I was 15, and it's where my friends worked and loved it. Kind of kept me grounded working in the kitchen. It's always, people refer to it as organized chaos, and I like that aspect of it. And I worked at that same place for 13 years, and I got married and moved away. So I had met Matt. He was opening Lake Hope. They were reopening, and he just offered me a job, and ended up working for him for a while.
How long did you work for Matt then?
Probably 4 years total.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you came to us about
Yeah, I worked at another place in Jackson called Archinettes. Worked there for about 2.5 years.
Are you beginning to look at any sort of, one of the things that has been successful in the past would be some like catering within the hills at people's parties, homes and things?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to do that. Actually, I've been working on a catering menu. Two options, you could be the food's pre-cooked or it's not. It depends on what you're wanting to do. And I kind of delayed it because we were so short-staffed over the summer, but now we're ready to go. So starting next summer, we can roll that out. And I think it would be a better option instead of, if you're just coming down for the weekend, that you can just come in here and pick up your steaks or your hamburgers and everything for your salads instead of going to the grocery store. You can just come in, order your stuff and get it and go straight home.
Well, I know you're getting a lot of compliments from people.
Yeah, they're noticed and appreciated.
Yeah.
How long have you been, or how long have you been in your present position?
I do believe it's about the 1st of June.
Okay, so
It's been
around 6 months.
Yeah.
June, July, okay.
Yeah. And it's been 1.5 years total, about.
Yeah.
But John, I certainly think the food quality has been great. I love seeing you come out and check on people and finding out, making sure everything is working out well. So please keep doing that. I think as a member, that's nice to see that you care about what's going on. So I don't know if you've had that in the past. I really appreciate you coming and doing that.
It's been pretty much hit and miss in the past. We've had some good ones and some bad ones, that's for sure. No question.
I noticed you're very active on social media. Do you find people in the hills respond to that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I try to look at what the last few people in charge have done or haven't done and just try to work off of that. And the communication wasn't there.
Right, that's what we noticed.
Yeah, so, you know, if we don't have something, I should explain to you why we don't have something. And I feel like it's owed to people because this is their place.
Well, it's nice to know that we can go every day to the neighbors of Hideaway Hills and see if the menu is going to be that day.
Yeah.
It's nice to see that.
You say that, I forgot to do that today.
Any further questions at all for John? I mean, that was, I wanted you to come in and have a chance to meet everybody.
I appreciate it, man.
And you're on Cannon, oh, you can guess the back of you. So.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of talking.
We should have put you right in.
Turn around and say hi.
This is John Buck. Thank you very much.
Thanks, John.
All right. Moving on, Mr. Lau. You have something from the ACC.
I do. It's more of a clerical issue. This was brought to me by the chairman of the ACC. Looks like we had two different prices for permits. And if you look, so I think we were all given, I don't know, Jeff, the building code. This would be on page 5, section 200.05, addition or garage. If you scroll down through there, it says that building permit for an addition or garage is $200 and it's valid for 6 months. But if you look at our schedule, it says that an addition or garage, an addition of 350 square feet or a garage is $100. So the ACC committee has asked that we do away with the $200 piece and just go with the $100 permit fee. So to wrap this up, I would like to make a motion that we strike this portion, we strike the sentence, building permit for an addition or garage is $200 and valid for 6 months. And we just strike that out of the rules.
Yeah, it's one of the few places where the cost is actually in the rules. Because everything else is governed by the actual fee and fine schedule, which is listed behind. If you look further back on page 11, and that's where the discrepancy is. So I think that.
So I've made a motion, can I have
A second.
Scott seconds. Is there any further discussion?
I have a question on this. It says the addition under 350 square feet for a garage is $100. Anything over 350 is $250. And this is under the fee and fine schedule. It seems that this is what we need to agree on, and we just take the one out on 205.
I believe that's what you just asked for.
That's what that was the motion.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Exactly the motion.
That's right.
Most of the other ones are found on the fee and fine schedule.
Right, okay.
And this is one of the few places. Jim, do you have any discussion? I mean, you being on the Constitution Committee?
No, this is the first that I'd heard of this.
Yeah.
Does the 6 months still apply, or striking that policy?
Yeah, I was striking the entire sentence is what my motion was.
Well, because it says in the back, it says it's for 6 months.
So all of our, Randy, can you help me, are all of the permits 6 months?
All but the building of a new house. New house is a year with a 6-month extension.
Okay, so that says that would be it.
I think so too. Any other questions?
Did you have a second yet?
Yes.
Scott.
All right, seeing no further questions, all in favor of making this deletion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Just a question. Why would the demolition permit be 500?
I found that to be odd too. Why do we wanna charge somebody $500 to clean something up? When
Yeah.
Frank came to see his house burned down, and he had to pay $500 for permits so he could clean it up, I thought it was adding insult to injury, but, that's what it is.
I think we can ask our board rep for ACC to take it back to.
Thanks.
I don't have a problem, it just struck me when I looked at this list.
I agree.
And I know there was a house that was recently demolished within the last 2 weeks. I wonder, did they have?
I honestly don't know why we have permit fees for anything. I mean, we don't have any inspection things, and the money's just going into the general fund. I never understood why we had.
That's not a bad thing.
I know, right. And I'm not saying it's not, but it just seems, it's arbitrary. This costs this much, this costs that much. Just because other people charge permit fees doesn't mean we have to charge our membership for permit fee to fix their, some of the stuff, there's no fees. Do the roof or painting or what have you, but.
Well, I mean, I think that generally though, I mean, I can't speak to this, this predates me, but a lot of even the permits is to have sort of a quality control aspect of the whole thing. So
Well, I'm not opposed to.
So you go through the process and the like. I feel free. Would you like to? You can chair a subcommittee to review these. There might be a little conflict of interest there.
I mean, it's not me that's paying the permit fees.
That's true.
It's the members that I'm working for. It's just, I was felt like that, why are we charging them? Somebody wants to, fix their house up and then we're making the same thing with the demolition fees. Why are we charging people? If it's just a money grab,
Well,
really.
it's not like ACC's having pizza parties either.
No pizza parties for the ACC.
Well, let's think about this.
When I was on ACC, we bought all our pizzas from the law.
Thank you. Moving along, we can talk about this. Eric, you might want to mention it to your squad
Yes.
and see what they have
Certainly.
to say. The appeal of the improper dumping fine.
Is that person here?
Randy.
I'm not sure who you are, sir.
John
Glass,
920.
Oh, okay. No, he's not.
Okay.
No appeal.
No appeal. You've got the letter in there, or the note from Randy. All right. Any other old business topics? Seeing none, let's move on. Mr. Lapp, do we have any new members?
We do.
All right.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the following new members. Gregory and Gail Krivicic. Thank you. Lot 959, 960, 61, 962, and 963. Andrew and Ann Johnston, lot 1180. James and Wendy Leeser, lots 38 and 39. Jane Dunkel, lot 3. Alexander Smith, lots 1968, 1969. Patricia and Jerry Austin, lot 71. Thomas and Karen Wood, lot 679. Michael and Heather Downey, lots 1612, 1613, and 1614. Brian and Jill Medley, lots 848, 849, and 850. And Elizabeth Stewart Randall Revocable Trust, lot 929. I'm sorry, 927.
Now, do we know how many of these people are permanent residents and how many are part-time?
We don't capture that. Just haven't. Easiest way to, I guess, or the best way I've used as a proxy is to get a list of the whole roster and see which people take their mail here.
Right.
Because that would be the case, but no, we don't.
I just wondered, new people if we ever asked.
I don't think we do.
Second.
Yeah, can I have a second? Second. Scott Martin. Any further discussion? Seeing none, vote to approve all of these new members and accept them into the Highway Hills Club. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Very good. Welcome. Yes, welcome to the Hills. Any additional business anybody needs to bring up?
I'm just curious. This is the third meeting, actually the fourth meeting in a row Dave Miller. Is he excused for this?
He did, he said he had to be out of town, I should have said that in the beginning. He actually sent me an email and said that he would, I'll have a conversation with him.
That's 3 meetings plus the annual meeting, that's
That
4
is
in a row.
correct. That is correct.
Yeah.
I will discuss that with him. I got a notice today that he was out of town on business tonight. So I should mention that, yeah. But that is that's part of the deal when we sign on. All right. That being said, we have an Article 9 hearing later, but may I have a motion to adjourn? Given the
So moved.
Second, Linda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. And we will move to Article 9.
Okay.
This is the key.
Anybody need to use the restroom before we start?
No, it's